it's MaryAnne, and today it's Tuesday Tips. I wanted to talk about the frequency of urination, but the part I want to talk about today is how stress and anxiety can really affect our bladder habits. And, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and as we all know, we are all living through life changes, work changes, family members who have been sick, or maybe yourself has been sick. So it affects, believe it or not, the communication from the muscles and the brain. So basically what I'm saying is our nervous system gets affected because our body, due to stress, can go into a hyper mode. And you hear me talking about bladder triggers all the time. And this is probably a bladder trigger that, in my opinion, I think it's ignored. I am a person who has dealt with anxiety my whole life. I talk openly about it. I talk about my tricks that I use to control my anxiety all the time. It is something that at times that can completely halt your life or stop your life. It can be truly debilitating. But when you learn kind of what your triggers are and then how it's going to affect you either emotionally or physically, you're able to control it. It doesn't mean it goes away. I've never claimed that I have conquered 100%, my anxiety and the anxiety attacks that I do have. But what I want to help you understand today is the bladder trigger that it causes, due to the hyperness, is muscles are going to tense up. And when muscles tense up, it can cause reactions like, and there's two of them that I'm going to focus on today. It can cause reactions that either cause you to urinate more or get that sensation, I got to go, what's called that urgency, or it can cause it where you sit down and you try to go to the restroom and you can't go at all. Your poor little sphincters and bladder muscle is either trying to relax, and then the sphincters are going, no, 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 I don't want to relax to let the urine out, because you're in a hypersensitive mode. So kind of for me, and I'm going to go back to the anxiety thing, because remember I said I don't think that it is discussed enough. I think we focus on a lot of things that definitely affect the bladder in terms of the way we drink our water, what time we drink our water, how we fill, store, and empty the bladder, and how we treat the bladder kind of unkind. But I don't think we go to the mental part of it in terms of just general life. So some examples. With my clients, I've seen many, many times, I've seen individuals that will come in and talk to me about, yesterday was a bad day, or for a week I had a bad week, and it was a person that was part of their anxiety. I've had individuals, I had one in particular that I remember really well. She came in and she was going to do a biofeedback, and she said, my brother has always upset me, and she said he's in town for a week, and she said I am urinating all over myself. She said I've tried, just to be away from him, and her trigger was her brother would then set off her anxiety. So it was something that for that week or whatever time period it was that her brother was there, she wasn't having control. And she had actually figured out, okay, my brother is actually one of my bladder triggers. So what I want you to do, if this is something you feel that is affecting you, especially during this crazy time in the world, is, let's do with the first one, those that are urinating more often, is when you have that feeling that you need to go, what I want you to do is, instead of going to the bathroom, because you've probably already gone maybe 15 minutes ago or 30 minutes ago, so the bladder really doesn't have enough time to fill up again. Or you may have had the sensation to go, gone and brushed your teeth, and you're going, I'm not going to go, and then you decide to go anyhow. And when you peed, you look down, and you're like, nothing really came out. So you've gone a lot. What I want you to do is, when you get these triggers, I want you to do that thing where I'm always saying, just stop where you are, breathe. And here's what you want to try to do. And it's easier said than done. I understand that. Believe me, more than you think. is walk away wherever you're standing. Remember, stop first, walk away. What I want you to do is quickly get your attention on something else. So one of my favorite things to do, and I do it all the time, my husband, I call it my brainless TV because it seems to get me at night, whether my anxiety just, I don't know why. I think it's at the time where I finally slow life down. When I sit down, all of a sudden it will go, and anxiety will like hit me. So I found that brainless TV was one of my, what I call my quick fixes. So I actually find any show that's going to make me laugh, that's not going to have anything that has to do with death, shooting, killing, something to get my brain focused on a happy moment. So another thing you can do is if you have a happy person that you know that you can immediately call that is always positive, is always going to say something positive, is always going to make you laugh, I would make that phone call to that person. If you know of a recipe that you can go fix very quickly that is going to get your attention and get your mind off of it, that's what you need to do. If you're in a room that you know is always kind of a room that you find you get anxious, switch a bedroom or switch the TV room. Or I've had women that do this. They switch bathrooms. They go to different bathrooms because they notice that some bathrooms give them more bladder triggers than others. I know it's crazy, but our mind works in crazy ways. You know, if you're an individual that's actually having the opposite effect due to your hyperstimulation, due to the stress and anxiety, what you're going to have the problem with is when you sit down to go to the bathroom, you find that your muscles aren't going to relax. So here's how it kind of works is you've heard me talk about the bladder has to fill. When the bladder gets that full, that's when the brain gets a signal to then tell you that sensation, or to have you feel that sensation, you need to go. Well, when we get into that hyperstimulation mode due to the stress and anxiety, things are going to tense up. So that means your stomach might be tense. That means your buttocks might be tense. You might even be tensing your hands. This is one I realize I do. I'll be standing there and realize I'm clenching big time, or clenching teeth. So it's learning, how do I relax what I'm tensing? And one of the things you can do when you're on the toilet is actually just breathe. You want to breathe in through your nose. And I always tell people, breathe in through the back holes, the two little holes in the back, breathe through them. And then when you exhale, exhale through your mouth. And when you're exhaling through your mouth, focus on letting your stomach kind of feel like it's going, it's, you know, expanding. Do it lightly. Don't press out. The one thing I absolutely want you to try not to do is because you want to go to the bathroom. And our natural inclination is to actually push and push hard because we're trying to get the urine out. That's like the worst thing you can do. It's almost like, you know, all of a sudden putting a plug. And we don't want to put a plug there. We want the urine to be able to come out, because what's happening is you're tensing up that tiny little sphincters, and your bladder muscle is not contracting. It's actually trying to relax more. I know that sounds opposite, but it's the way the bladder works. So what I want you trying to focus on again is breathing, blowing out, relaxing. When you blow out, I want you to think of the, if I can talk, the vaginal area, kind of feel of it as it's expanding. And at the same time, kind of think your butt cheeks are separating. I know that sounds funny, but it works. So again, breathe in lightly through the back holes. Exhale. Again, feel like the vagina is expanding. Let your buttock cheeks go. Let your tummy relax. And this is something you may have to do a few times before you teach your body how to really let it relax. So what I've talked about today is that due to just life, stress, that we can teach our body, unfortunately, something, because it becomes a repetitive behavior, that we can teach the brain to either send the signal of you got to go, or the brain can send the signal of tension. And I tend to be one that can be more of the tension with my anxiety. I stress, everything kind of, I learned that the hard way. I've had bad things happen to my body due to stress. Believe it or not, I know this sounds crazy, but remember I said I clench my hands, I clench my teeth. I didn't know it, and years ago, this was about in 2006, my neck spontaneously broke when I was teaching a group exercise class. And it is when I learned that statement and how truthful the statement was: stress can kill you. If you are living through stress right now, you don't want to be me and have a broken neck and live through the horror of that. Mine literally, they said it was combustion. It was horrible. It was time of my life that I don't like thinking about, but I got through it. And if you are living with stress and you are living with high anxiety, it's nothing wrong with getting help. It was one of the things that I had to learn, which is something my husband helped me with, and helping to understand that so many people live with anxiety and stress. And I wanted it to hide it because I looked at it as a weakness, of being a personal trainer, a health coach, a single mom. And what I found was when I actually delved in to really deal with it, I became a calmer person, and I actually became better at my job. And I think I became a better mom. And I just believe that the more open we are about ourselves and what we live with, we can conquer pretty much anything. Not saying it's easy. It is a constant. It is still an everyday fight for me. So if you feel you've learned anything today, I would love for you to subscribe and begin listening to some of my lessons. I am a health coach. One of my big things that I focus on is pelvic health. I'm also a personal trainer. I've been in the business for 25 years. Very, very passionate about sharing techniques and lessons for people to be able to do what I call the self-advocacy, or to be able to learn ways that you can help yourself. I think that's huge, because when we go to the physician's office, they don't have time to talk to you about this. It's just not in the way that the system's set up. So if you enjoyed what you learned, I've got on the top of the screen, that is my current website. And if you need to email me with questions, you can see that's back on the right-hand side. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm just starting this on YouTube. If you'd like to become a subscriber, hit subscribe. And I do Tuesday tips, but I also will be doing some others that don't stay quite with the Tuesday tips. I'm going to start that next week. Also, if you would really like to learn even more, you can go to that website, and I have lots and lots of lessons. Right now, I've just been focusing on bladder health. I will eventually be adding the gut health. I'll be adding the posture, the alignment, and all about the workouts. Okay, have a great day. Bye-bye.